Thanks for your company. Residents of Weja community in the Gas South municipality are struggling to get access to potable water. You would recall the community some few months ago was almost submerged following the spillage of excess water from the hydro dam. Well, now the area has been hit by water shortage and residents say they were not informed prior to the situation. While residents rely on the use of sachet water to bath, others resort to the Weja River for survival. John News' Forgive America visited the community and has come through with the following report.
One of the small municipalities in the Greater Accra community, I'm talking about Weja, the community that was hit by the spillage of the overflow of the Weja Dam some 3 months ago. Today, few months down the lane, the same community has been hit by water shortage, and the communities within this environment are complaining relentlessly about this condition. For how long now is Emma?
About 3 days.
For the past 3 days, we have not had water. Not only this area, but it extends to STC. We have no idea why the water is not flowing. Sometimes they close it, but it does not take long for them to open it. If you don't store water, there is none to use, unless you resort to pure water to drink and bath, or better still, resort to the river behind us to boil for drinking and bathing. We have no idea why the water is not flowing. No one has communicated anything to us.
Problem be a solve until be a that say. Ye be pipe na ye den amaye and so yanteshe
ye kwatna obi pipe no be.
If we get up at 3 a.m. to go hunt for water till 6 before we get home. If people have taken advantage and have inflated their price from 40 pesos to 1 cedi, we pleading with you to come to our aid.
We buy pure water to bath. That's what we have to do. It's very serious. Most time it's 1, 2, 3 days, but this is for about 10 days now. So many people used to get water from the Weja River, but we buy pure water.
100 meters away from here, at most, there should be a sign indicating that there is a ditch here. A travel through this road has shown no sign, so drivers will have to drive close with caution, and then before they get here, you don't know what is going to happen. An eyewitness was just narrating an incident to me about a policeman who nearly got himself into the ditch.
They have dug a ditch here at the middle of Weja and Oblogo Road. One evening, a police dispatch rider fell in the ditch. We helped him out. Most often, cars also get stuck in the ditch. The water company have to cover this before another disaster hits us.
Away from Weja, craftsmen in Ofuase in the Etrima Kwanoma district of the Ashanti region have abandoned an age-old trade for supposed better jobs. The community was one of the main artisanal hubs of woodcraft in the country. The once vibrant economic area created jobs for hundreds of people in and around the community. Many challenges, including advancement in technology and unavailable market, are the major challenges. Now, Prince Apia visited the community and filed this report in the face of government's one district, one factory industrialization policy.
Akwesi Ansa is a wood carver at Ofuase in the Ashanti region. He has been doing this for close to 30 years, and this community, which used to be the hub of woodcraft in Ghana. But the narrative has changed.
Investors prefer the Chinese to us because they have the equipment to produce more. For others that we use 3 months to produce, the Chinese use 2 to 3 weeks to produce. That is why the business has gone down.
The once busy community is now a shadow of itself, as many people have relocated. The few persevering ones say the dwindling fortunes of the venture can be attributed to obsolete equipment.
200. I use 3 months to produce 200 pieces. I don't use machines. I use chisel.
A piece of woodwork passes through various stages to get the desired perfect finish. Each stage offers opportunity for people with one skill or the other. All that has now eluded the people, prompting many carvers to look elsewhere for survival.
I started 1994.
I did a business from 1994 to 2000. I became a dealer when the business went down and stopped eventually. I now work for a bank. Meanwhile, moves by the then Export Development and Agricultural Investment Fund, ADF, to mobilize the carvers were discontinued. So this structure here was supposed to be the exhibition center for the supposed craft village for the craftsmen here at Ofuase Atwoma in the Atwoma-Kwanhoma district of the Ashanti region. But 10 years on after this structure was put up, it has been left in the fate of dust and weeds. The National Business for Small-Scale Industries, NBSSI, has been involved in a project at the early stages. Nana Sam Hemsen is a district coordinator.
Currently, most of them are carving under trees. We've been asked them several times to just come to that workshop so that they will all sit and then carve. Even if you have somebody like the foreigners, these tourists, when they come in and then you are grouped at a center, they can easily come, just look at what you are doing and then maybe buy some of the products. But it's very difficult moving the carvers from where they are under the trees to where the center is. Some of them are saying that the center where it's located is too far from their houses, because you need to go from your house to that center and then also come back.
The few craftsmen now work in their respective homes, as some even resort to making ordinary tables and chairs for the local market.
We now
produce and sell tables and catapults, which we sell one for 20 pesos.
The remaining carvers also go through stress, having to transport their product to Kumasi and other places for sale.
200.
I take between 200 and 400 pieces to trek. In Kumasi, we sell one for 20 or 25 cedis, but on trek, we can sell for 300 or 350 cedis. It is better to go on trek, but it is stressful. Despite their frustration, the carvers pay attention to the environment as they embark on afforestation to replace their trees they cut for their work.
I have planted some trees in my farm.
We have planted about 25 different tree species on the land the chief gave us. Kwame Boer is regional chairman for the Association of Small-Scale Industries. He speaks of interventions to revive the craft.
The road network system in Ofuase to Kumasi was such that one cannot access that road to the factory in Ofuase. So we are pleading with government through the district assembly, if they can do something about the road networking system, it will go a long way to alleviate the problems confronting the activities of the people in Ofuase.
Nana Sam Hemsen also reviews plans to support the project.
What we intend doing is to have this export promotion training. When we are able to train them, then we also look at the finishing. People buy when the finishing is very good. So we also intend training them in how to just get the best out of what they are producing. Take them through the finishing of the product, whether it's polishing or the sandpaper, and so we look at that.
Certainly, it has potential to contribute to reducing Ghana's high unemployment rate. My name is Prince Apia, reporting.
Smoking marijuana makes you more intelligent. This is according to the Rastafari Council of Ghana. Chairman of the Advocacy Committee of the Council, Kex Danpongo, insists research has shown the health benefits of smoking the plant far outweigh documented side effects. The Council, in a recent statement, said the health benefits of the now illegal plant are not the reasons to be considered for its legalization, but the economic potential is vast. Kex Pongo mentioned some of these benefits earlier on News Desk.
With cannabis, it can protect the environment in so many ways. You know, apart from the economic aspect, our forests, which are being degrading, can also, you know, recover from the, you know, we can reforest our country, and we can have affordable housing for our workers and, you know, homeless, you know, before the economic, the money, you know. So it is a very, you know, lucrative industry which Ghana shouldn't be left out. Already we are buying products from other countries, hemp products, and we are bringing it into the country legally. So why can't we produce those things ourselves, which is very easy to produce? If you check statistics, countries that are liberal or who have liberalized the use of marijuana have less experimentation of new users, you know, or less number of new users than countries which are very strict on it, you know. So according to statistics, countries that when you free up the herb, it makes people not too much anxious to go and see why this thing is being prohibited. So it makes them to rather lose it. But at the same time, there are some of these facts you bring out, or some of this information you bring out here are not really factually true, because marijuana has no side effect.
Really?
Yes.
There are a lot of side effects that have been documented. Research has shown that, for instance, the number of people seeking professional help to quit or control their cannabis habits has risen in the past 20 years in Europe, US, and Australia. Only alcohol and tobacco lead more people into treatment. People in withdrawal can experience anxiety, insomnia, depression.
It is not true. Herb users don't have any, you don't have any withdrawal, or you don't need any help if you want to stop smoking herb. You don't need any help at all. It doesn't give you no illness. And if you check the LD50 of marijuana, it is very astronomical. When I say LD50, that's the lethal dose. In medicine, anything below 50 is dangerous. But when they test it and it's above 50, that means it is less toxic. And marijuana will be like maybe 250 times above 50. You understand me? So it can never be.
So you are disputing research that has been, you know,
there are so many other researches
I mean,
too.
This is over 20 years. This is a careful study that has been taken over 20 years.
The most recent studies on marijuana came from Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who is the medical correspondent of CNN.
Yeah.
And you can go and refer to his documentary called Weed. You understand me? They even tested people who smoke weed. They took them to a brain specialist and tested their brain on the computer, and you see what happens. Even when you smoke marijuana, it enlarges your brain. And people with big brains are more intelligent.
So weed makes people more intelligent.
Very true.
Well, technical experts in drug policies and human rights on the African continent and Europe are advocating the continent reconsiders the current draconian drug regime that punishes problematic drug users. The experts from the widely acclaimed International Drug Policy Consortium question why the African continent continues to rely on legislation that pushes culprits in jail when what they really need is rehabilitation. The call was made on the sidelines of an expert workshop that seeks to put together a drug model law for the West African sub-region here in Accra.
It's a complicated message to get across, and to get across to people that this isn't about being soft on drugs. This isn't about giving up. It's about being more effective and actually trying to help people. But it's difficult. It's difficult to tell people that the way that we've been doing things for 50 years is wrong.
How has the political establishment received this message from your outfit?
I mean, it's a very good question, and it very much depends on the individual. We have some, even within the Commission itself, you know, senior political figures who are very supportive of this message and fully understand and fully agree. You have many other politicians who they agree on a one-to-one basis. They understand the concerns, they understand the point, but they're so concerned about public opinion in the elections. And I'm not just talking Ghana, I'm talking all around the world. So concerned about public opinion. And that's why, for example, the media and all of the way that we think about drugs has to change. And then when the politicians feel that it's safer to have this honest conversation, then you'll find that change can happen much quicker.
I don't know any country that can boast of having a robust treatment system.
Senegal is doing well, you would say?
Well, Senegal is doing well in one regard. Senegal is doing well in terms of harm reduction. It's the only country in the sub-region that has methadone, that has needle and syringe programs for people who are addicted to opioids.
Why is that difficult for other countries in the sub-region to emulate?
It's a good question. It's a good question because some other parts of the continent, East Africa is doing quite well. Tanzania has harm reduction programs. Kenya does. And now Uganda is going to begin some programs also. West Africa, only one country out of so many countries in the region, about 15 countries. I don't know, why is it? It may be our attitudes towards drug use are different. It is probably also that the use of opioid analgesics or opiates like heroin, it's very low usage. And probably we also don't understand what may be happening because the response in a place like Tanzania was due to the association between injecting drug use and HIV. And we have injecting drug use obviously in West Africa, in all the countries, but probably it's not clear to many people that this may be helping to drive the HIV epidemic, and not only HIV, but also hepatitis B and C.
What we really need to do is use evidence to show people that cannabis is less harmful than, say, tobacco or alcohol. And at the minute, cannabis is really the purvey of the criminal market. And so we have no control over it. So if children want to get their hands on it, all they need is some money to pay for it. And actually, if we change the law and we end criminal sanctions so that people feel that they can get support if they need it, and then explore whether we should regulate cannabis and whether we should put in age controls and product controls in order to protect people from the really harmful type of substances that are out there.
If the person goes to jail and there's no treatment, he comes back with the same addiction problems. So he goes back and then he comes in. So in that sense, I think there should be a review or a rethinking of the law.
So you mentioned that we should put these individuals through rehabilitation. But some have argued that we do not have these centers readily available to take care of their needs, if you like.
Yes, I agree. We don't have, and we may not have all the facilities. But what I know is that the moment you have that policy or that process, you set it, the process itself generates the rehab.
You are with the sub-regional body, if I'm right, yes. ECOWAS. What is ECOWAS looking at as far as policy on drugs are concerned?
Yes, that's a very good question.
In the sub-region.
Yes, we have an action plan which is very comprehensive, and it takes care of all these reforms, legal reforms, rehabilitation, prevention, and even what we call the supply reduction, that is repression, arrest, and putting in jail, prosecution, and all that, and training, capacity building. So in this action plan, it has been identified that we have laws in the region that are not up to date. Some of them came as far back as 1974. And we are in 2017.
People describing the laws as archaic.
Yeah, I will not argue with them. Because 74, when we didn't have internet, and now people are selling drugs on the internet.
Away from the war on drugs, Thursday, September 21 was National Volunteers Day, also known as Envy Day. This day is aimed at encouraging Ghanaians to take up the attitude of volunteerism. The Envy Day initiative is now part of the Ghana Think Foundation's Ghana Volunteer Program, GVP, which is also to promote volunteerism. Now, as such, Covenant Ghana, a non-governmental organization based at WA in the Upper West region, trained and mentored over 500 students across the Upper West and Northern region as part of events to mark the National Volunteer Day in Ghana. Last year, Covenant organized a similar event to train over 250 children through its practical ICT training at PC, a community in the WA municipality. Adil Issa, Executive Director of Covenant Ghana, disclosed that the aim of the NGO is to double the number of students and involve more volunteers this year. He joins us on the line with more. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, what is the whole rationale behind the volunteer program?
So basically, National Volunteers Day, we try to organize a couple of programs within WA. That was last year, and this year we decided to reach out to people in Tamale. So we organized 2 events simultaneously. That is a peer mentorship program both in WA and Tamale, where we train 200 students in a school called Business College International, and then an orphanage called Child Support, where we had close to 40 volunteers showing up to mentor these children.
And so, I mean, how far along are you with the attainment of your goals as an organization?
Hello.
Hi. Did you hear me, sir?
Hello, come again.
I'm asking how far along you are with the attainment of your goals as an organization.
Well, we are been able to do a lot, but we are trying our best, and we have set our goals all right, but it has been a big challenge for us. We have this year about 50 people coming along to volunteer, and tomorrow again we are going to be here in the one municipal where we worked recently with my community on Joy News, where they showed things within the community. So we've been trying to involve a lot of people, trying to reach out, and then we are trying to increase our numbers from 50 to, let's say, 100.
So what are some of these challenges you talk about?
One of the main challenges we face is funding. We've not been able to get any major funding from bigger organizations that are willing to partner with us, but we've been trying our best, and we have impacted lives since last year. So by and large, that has been our major challenge, and then logistics. But we are just doing our best to overcome all these things.
And you mentioned activities you carried out this year, one yesterday, and what you hope to do tomorrow. But why did you choose the ICTs specifically?
We chose the ICT because in Ghana, most of the schools are just taught without laptops. They are just taught theoretical things. So personally, once I was growing up, a friend introduced me to computers, and that developed my interest in ICT. So I've been teaching ICT for a while now, and I'm thinking that with this particular project, we can reach out to more students who will be interested in ICT in the near future. So exposing them to this ICT with laptops, they haven't hands-on experience with the volunteers. I think we'll get at least some people or students who will be willing to take up this challenge in the near future, and they can also reach out to generations to come.
But your programs seem focused on the northern part of Ghana. Any special reasons?
Yes. In the northern part, poverty is actually real, and most of these schools are really in deplorable conditions. And then we said, whilst we are based in WA for now, we'll just try to reach out to other parts of northern Ghana, whereby we can give these children access to some of our activities we'll be engaging in the near future.
All right, so finally, before you go, what can someone do to help, or if someone wants to be a volunteer and work with your organization?
So if someone wants to volunteer, the person goes to our website and then registers as a volunteer, we receive and we get in touch with you. And we would, if anybody wants to support us, our website is available and our contact numbers are also there at www.covenantgh.org. We'll be willing to work with any organization that is willing to work with us.
Thank you very much for your time here. Adil Issa is Executive Director of Covenant, and they're encouraging volunteerism. So if you want to support them, do well to get onto their website and offer your support. We'll take a quick breather here. We'll be back with more news in a moment. Many thanks for staying here on Joy News. Today, the Eastern Regional Police Command has arrested one and on the manhunt for 3 others for allegedly raping a pregnant woman at Achemmase in the Eastern region. The suspects were said to have drugged the 6-month-old pregnant woman with local gin akpetashi laced with marijuana and transfer hydrochloride before having sex with her. The victim's husband, Dada Torso, said he returned from work Saturday to find his wife helpless and gasping for breath. According to him, upon inquiries, he was told by a Good Samaritan, name withheld, that his wife had been gang raped by his own friends. He said after lodging a formal complaint with the Achim Tafo District Police Command, and one of the suspects, 30-year-old Kweku Kumasa, was arrested while the 3 other suspects fled. Mr. Torso said he rushed his 25-year-old wife to the Tafo Government Hospital after being issued with a police medical form. The Tafo District Police Commander, Superintendent Isaac Dompre, confirmed the incident but failed to give details. According to him, the case has been transferred to the Eastern Regional Command for investigations. Joy News' Kofi Sian joins us with some more information in this rather disturbing incident. Hello, Kofi.
Hello.
So what more can you tell us? What are the latest updates?
Well, currently, the husband and a few family members have been invited by the Eastern Regional Police Command in Koforidua, and I can tell you that they are currently having a meeting as to the way forward to the case. And the husband tells me earlier on that the police are investigating the matter, and he believes that they will come to a fair conclusion on it.
So tell me how the community is reacting to this.
Well, it's a surprise to them because they say this is the first time they witnessing or hearing about such a story. So it is coming as a surprise to them. If people could go to the extent of raping someone who is 6 months old pregnant, it comes as a shock to them.
Kofi, as at the time we were coming here on air, we know that the police had arrested 1 person and were on a hunt for 3 others. Have any arrests been made so far?
Well, they have not yet made any more arrests. The 3 are currently hiding, and the police wouldn't want to come out with places that they suspect they are hiding. But they say that they have information more on where the people are, so they would do more investigation into the matter and make sure that the 3 are brought to book.
And the lady we know was sent to the Tafo hospital. How is she doing now?
Well, she's fine. Nothing happened to the pregnancy.
Well, thank you very much, Kofi Sian. Our man in the Eastern region will follow this and update you when we have more information. Now, a 29-year-old man, Seth Mensah, is currently in the grips of Asinfosu police for allegedly murdering his coconut business partner, Yao Edujima. According to the Asinfosu Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Henry B.M. Bacho, the suspect allegedly hit the deceased with a fufu-pounding pestle in the head. The victim was rushed to the St. Francis Hospital in Asinfosu, where he was pronounced dead. He said, though the police is still investigating the matter, the misunderstanding between the two is said to have started during the sharing of proceeds from their coconut business.
At about 9:40, police received a message that 2 young men, namely Seth Mensah and 1 Yao Edujemfi, they were fighting, and in the process, Edujemfi used a pistol on Yao Mensah, That is what we used to Pani Fufu. They will hit him and he fell down unconscious and was rushed to St. Francis Xavier Hospital where he was admitted for treatment. But unfortunately, the doctors couldn't save his life, so he is dead. The body has been deposited at St. Francis Xavier morgue. While suspect is in police custody, we are here to do further investigations. And I learned the fight was due to some unspecified amount of money that they were to share. What I would say is that they should gather courage and patience, that control themselves, whatever it is. They should try, whatever provocation that comes their way, they should try to control themselves. Be patient and report to the elders for them to be solved. This money issue that came, if they had reported to an elder, he would have been able to solve it for them rather than, getting in touch of each other and finally one killing the other. It's not a good thing. Actually, today is holiday. I should have been resting. But because of this, I'm in office. It has come to worry me. And it's not me alone, it's worrying the state as well. They should stop it. If you have a problem with somebody, go through the law. That's why we have the courts, we have the elders, we have the police station, we have the chief palaces.
There'll be more on the story later. Now, the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea will in less than 24 hours settle the disagreement between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire over an area where Ghana is currently undertaking oil exploitation. Ghana headed to the tribunal after it had failed to resolve the matter through diplomatic discussions. Ahead of the special chamber's decision, Joy News puts the spotlight on the demands each country is making.
Demands by both countries are at sharp variance. Both countries want a declaration, with each unwilling to make a concession. Ghana is asking the chamber to state that Ivory Coast has for years agreed that the area in dispute belongs to Ghana. Agent Gloria Kufu told the chamber in a wrap-up that Ivory Coast was barred from making such a demand due to this admission for decades.
Ghana respectfully requests the special chamber to adjudge and declare that 1, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have mutually recognized, agreed, and applied an equidistance-based maritime boundary in the territory sea, EEZ, and continental shelf within 200 miles. In accordance with international law, by reason of its representations and upon which Ghana has placed reliance, Cote d'Ivoire is stopped from objecting to the agreed maritime boundary.
The Ivorian delegation sees this request as strange. They consider exploitation in the area as an affront to the rights of the French-speaking country.
To declare and adjudge that the activities undertaken unilaterally by Ghana in the Ivorian maritime area constitute a violation of, firstly, the exclusive sovereign rights of Cote d'Ivoire over its continental shelf as delimited by this chamber.
Adama Togara also wants the chamber to ask the two nations to meet and decide what is due Cote d'Ivoire.
And consequently, to invite the parties to carry out negotiations in order to reach agreement on the arrangements for reparations due to Cote d'Ivoire, and B, to state that if they fail to reach an agreement within a period of 6 months, as of the date of the judgment to be delivered by the special chamber, said chamber will determine the amount of this compensation or the arrangements for reparations on the basis of additional written documents dealing with this subject alone.
The Ghana delegation won't have any of this. AG Gloria Kufu requested an outright rejection.
There is no valid reason to depart from a maritime boundary which the parties have both long considered as lawful and equitable in its effects.
On Saturday, all eyes will be on a 5-member chamber presided over by Boalem Bugetea.
Thank you. The session is closed.
So, the case will be closed. For Joy News, Joseph Akable reporting.
A stalwart in Ghanaian and international law, Sam Okudzeto, also shares his thoughts ahead of the judgment, bringing to bear his experience as a former chairman of the Ghana-Togo Boundary Demarcation Commission.
There are certain situations we can easily avoid, and you avoid it by doing what is necessary, which in this case was not concluded. And that's part of the problem, in the sense that Ghana was having Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire Border Demarcation Commission, just as much as they have the Ghana-Togo Border Demarcation Commission, and then the Ghana-Burkina Faso Border Demarcation Commission. Those things are necessary for the simple reason that every country should know what its territorial boundaries are. Some countries are lucky. They have, let's say, the sea as a boundary. And there, because there are international treaties which govern the law of the sea, it's easy for them to know that, okay, you have your territorial boundary limit, so and so nautical miles from shore. That one is simple and easy. The rest becomes everybody's free highway, if you like to put it that way. In our case, it was not so, because the boundaries were settled by the colonialist governments who had previously, what you might call, scrambled for Africa when they cut bits and pieces, cutting across tribes and linguistic groups. So sometimes you find out that in the case of Cote d'Ivoire, you have enzimas in Cote d'Ivoire, you have enzimas in Ghana. Sometimes even the same families, one here, one there. Sometimes one is a minister in Cote d'Ivoire, another one is a minister in Ghana. You find the same thing in the Ghana-Togo border demarcation, that there are, I know of instance where the bedroom, the person's head is in Togo and his feet is in Ghana, because we had not laid down rules for building on the boundaries. In some instances, it is the hill that divides the two countries. In some instances, there are rivers or rivulets or streams which are the international boundary. But you also know that even rivers do change boundaries, because
And that's how we end this edition of Joy News today. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com.